Aloha, guys. Happy Aloha Monday. We are back with another case that I looked up this morning. Actually, I was looking at another case, but I think we're going to talk about that one because it's someone who was arrested over a year ago and is awaiting trial. I think I'm going to share that one in the future. However, I came across Deenah's case earlier this morning, and immediately something pulled me in on this case. Oops, sorry about that, gang. And also wanted to look into it a little bit more. I've been doing that for last couple hours and got quite a bit of stuff on it. Um This is one of those cases that kind of gets me. Most of you guys know that I work with long-term care. I work with elderly, have all my life. It's something I'm becoming closer and closer to elderly myself. Let's put it that way. Let's be honest. Um, but some of the things that have always frustrated me to no extent is abuse of the elderly. And this is a case where I honestly think there was some of that going on. And what worries me is that it may have gone all the way to the worst type of abuse possible. But let's go through that. Got a bunch of information to share with y'all. First, though, I just noticed. Hello, Ocean Tide. How you doing, my dear? Welcome, welcome. And yeah, this one actually, over the years, I've seen as we get older, there's two groups that really need our support, that need our keeping an eye out for them and being there to identify things and report it when we see it happening. One of that is our children. Okay, if we feel that a child is in danger, we need to report that. We need to take that, step to make sure they're safe. Okay, the other side is the elderly. Okay, many of our elderly, as we get older, whether it's because of cognitive decline, physical decline, and just not being able, you can completely be there, mentally, cognitively. But because physical declines, you may need to lean on people more. And I have over the years seen so much abuse of elderly from people who claim to love them. And I'm really kind of a little nervous, that this woman who was living with her boyfriend may have been being used by those people. It's nothing that is like suspect or anything like that, but from what I'm seeing here, it's not looking good whatsoever. So I'm going to dive into this pretty quickly here. You guys can see up here in the corner, right up there, that is Deenah. Deenah Watts is 68. She's lived in Alabama, it looks like most of her life. In fact, let me pull my notes out. And she has been in Alabama most her life. 68 years old. However, she seems like this little petite thing. She's 4'8", barely 100 pounds. Has brownish red hair with, yes, that gray that tends to start popping in. You all know about that. Um, Over the years, I don't know the full story of her whole life, but it looks like she's gone through some hardships. I mean, she was widowed in her 40s. And after being widowed, probably had to take control of her life. Okay, and figure out, where am I going to go now? How can I, approach life moving forward without that person who was in my life? She is very, very petite. I mean, I'm used to petite being 5'1" or something like that. Okay, 4'8". She's petite. In fact, one of the videos I saw, I'm not going to show it here because I'm not okay. It's a little older of a video too, so it doesn't really show her now. And it looks like she's lost a lot of weight. But she stood up with a family member, and she's standing up, and this other family member, who I don't know how tall they were, looks pretty tall, stands up and is like, woo, it's like this difference and all. And so you can see that, okay, family connection, the joking and the kidding around at that time, and also it was really, really cool. And I was happy to see that. I was happy to see families sharing that type of information. So while she was in Alabama, she was widowed. She continued moving on in her life and has family, has children, things like that. Okay, grandchildren. Okay. And she got into a relationship at the time. It was a past relationship. Unfortunately, this relationship did not work out. Unfortunately, fortunately, I don't know. That's up to her. However, due to that relationship, she sold her home in Alabama and she moved to Oregon. That was in November of 2019. So she's now gotten up, moved pretty much across the country. Okay, Alabama all the way over to Oregon. That's across the country. And got there, and the relationship did not work out. However, she chose to stay there. I'm not sure what the thought process was behind it, whether she had new job, whether she had friends and friends there, whatever it was, she decided to stay there. And I guess at some point recently, well, at some point here, she started dating a new person. This person, her boyfriend, who I'm going to refer to as boyfriend throughout this live. You're on the West Coast Ocean. Finally got a West Coast person watching. I'm always joking with everyone. Everyone from the East Coast loves to watch, and of course, with my time zone, which by the way, I can't wait till November comes, and then time change it. Hawaii does not do time changes. So at that point, instead of going live at 10 Eastern, it'll be 9 Eastern. So it'll be an hour earlier for you guys. Make life easier. But this boyfriend is who I'm going to be talking about regularly throughout this live. He is the one that she had been living with recently. Okay, it looks like at some point, she and her boyfriend Dave, um, were living in a house, and something happened. I saw some stuff, but I'm not positive enough. Okay, about accuracy, so I don't want to go sharing too much of it. But it looks like something happened that pushed them out of the house and into a possible motorhome, it looks like. Okay, but definitely into something else. Um, and they've been living that way, it looks like, for a little bit. Um, she would talk with her family on occasion, it looks like, okay. And on September 8th, her boyfriend picked up the phone, called, and reported her missing. Now, I'm starting this case a little differently than most because usually I can lead up to right when they go missing. The problem is this: he reported her missing on September 8th. However, he said, "Oh, I haven't seen her since August 30th." Okay, so that's like what? 10 days almost right there that she's not been around and he hasn't reported her. Now, there are reasons why he says he did not report her missing, and we will go through that. Actually, let me pull up her poster real quickly so we can kind of share that at the same time. This is Deenah here. And also, there are reasons why he says he didn't report her right away. He said he thought she was going to go back home to Alabama to live with her family and all, which we will discuss later because that never happened ever. And not a good sign, Oceantide, at all. Not a good sign at all right now. And thank you, Oceantide, for being here. I know it's a busy day on the YouTube street right now. Um, so he goes and calls. He's like, I haven't seen her, but you know what? We've been camping along River Road near Forest Road, and I'm going to pull all this stuff up in a second. And I went to work and I came home and she wasn't there. So I thought she just went back home. Well, problem occurs here. Her family never received a phone call from them. Her family never, okay, got that call saying, hey, have you seen Deenah lately? I haven't seen her since the 24th of September. I'm getting a little concerned. I just want to make sure she did get back to you or anything like that. Further, they didn't even know she was missing, okay, until last Tuesday, September 24th. So now we can take it even further. September 8th till September 24th. They didn't even know she was missing. You would have thought the first thing he would have done, especially with contacting, and I do question why was no one contacting them before to see, especially if he is sitting there saying, so I'm not sure if there's a date issue here. There were some confusion on the original poster. The original poster did have some things. They were using the word pronoun she for the boyfriend, okay, instead of he. So there were a couple different, okay, little mistakes on the original poster. So perhaps there's something else there. And all, but no matter what, it seems like they did not find out that mom or grandma was even missing at that point until last week on Tuesday, weeks later. So let me pull up Google real quickly so we can kind of get an idea of the area that we're looking at. Okay. This is Oregon. Okay, the area that she went missing in is very small area, very small area called Prospect. Okay, it's pretty much out there in the middle of the woods. You got a lot of really nice waterfalls. Ocean tide, this case is really kind of, I think that's why it's hit me so much because what looks like a woman who may have gone home or something, it quickly turns into something where she's either out there and something happened to her, okay, healthcare wise, or what worries me more, something was done to her. And I'll be honest, I've got a really gut feeling as you hear the rest of this that that is a very high possibility, and that's why getting the word out about this is important because you're also going to hear about a motorhome that the police are now looking for. They're looking for more information about this motorhome also. So there's a lot of stuff that start is coming out and it's leaking out in small ways, but it's telling a larger story. So this is Prospect in Oregon. You can see right away it is teeny tiny. Okay, I think I heard not even 1,000 people. Okay, that's small. Um, from my understanding here, the Dave and Deenah were camping along River Road near Forest Road 64. Okay, so I tried to get, and this did get confusing for me as I was trying to figure out the actual locations here. Okay, this long road here is River Road. And then if you go up north and then around and all here, that is River Road, but it also becomes River Road slash Forest Road 64. So it kind of gets a something tells, you get out into the woods, you get weird names and stuff like that. So it looks like once it goes off that way, it's more into the forest area. So you got U.S. Forestry Department involved and all. But from my understanding, they were camping out in this area. And I'm going to show you real quickly what I think they're starting to think the camper looked like. And we're going to come back to this camper, but I think the law enforcement is starting to feel that this camper here is connected with everything. So coming back to this now. He went to work. They were parked along the road here. He said he last saw her near River Road and Mill Creek Fall. So again, we got River Road here. Mills Creek Fall is, I thought I had it, right over here. Okay. So you're getting that road that I was talking about coming in here, and then you've got this waterfall here called Mill Creek Falls. So my thought process here from looking at all the roads and stuff that are being mentioned is somewhere in this area is where they were camping. He said he went to work. When he left, okay, to go to work, she was there. He came home and she was nowhere to be seen. Okay. Oregon is like that. Okay. See, Oregon to me, I've only been to once. I've actually only been to Oregon once, and it was for a business trip, and it's gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I'd love to go there and actually just really vacation and get into some of the areas because it looked absolutely gorgeous. And also that makes a hell of a lot of sense right there. So when he got back to what I suspect was this motorhome from the sound of it, he realized she was missing. Now, he decided at that time, oh, she's gone home. Now, why would he say that? There had been some discussion about her going home. So let's go into that. I'm going to pull us back to this so we can keep her photo up here because right now we need to find her. We need to find more information about the motorhome. Those are our two pieces of homework right now for anyone who is out there who may have been in the Oregon area at this time. The homework for the rest of us is to share out these posters. And also, living situation. Law enforcement said that immediately on talking to the boyfriend, on talking to Dave, he was telling her that he thought she had gone home. She had returned to family in Alabama. It's something she had been mentioning. And this is something that her daughter, Bethany, okay, has said, yes, there has been discussion about, but it never happened. And so, according to Bethany, for quite a few months, according to an interview on one of the newspapers, they interviewed Bethany, and Bethany had mentioned that there'd been a lot of concern about mom and her living situation. I love it, Ocean Tide. Thank you so much, my dear. And quote, okay, from Bethany, we've been trying to get her to come home for several months and she was ready. Okay, so it sounds like the discussions that they were having had come to fruition and they were just in the final process of actually planning it. So I have a feeling that Deenah was telling, okay, her boyfriend, yeah, I'm going to be leaving, I'm going back home and all that. And so he knew that was a discussion point. Um, Continuing the quote, we were gonna get her on a plane ticket to come see us after being gone for a few years. So, like we said, 2019, she moved out to Oregon. Um, the last time Deenah spoke with her daughter was August 10th. So now we start seeing that everlasting story, okay, that we keep repeating over and over and over in a lot of cases where people are reported missing on this date. And all of a sudden, the last verified by family is like a lot early, a lot earlier. Now, I'm not sure if maybe they were getting text messages like in Misha's case. Okay, in Misha's case, they were continuing to get text messages, so they thought she was okay, even though it wasn't phone calls. They thought it was okay. And Kathleen, welcome, Kathleen. And thanks for popping in, my dear. Um, so it's very possible. Okay. There was one time where I would sit there and say, oh, they hadn't heard from her. And so, because I know me and my mom, I can't go one night without talking to well, of course, she lives here too. But even when I lived on another island, I called almost nightly. But nowadays, I think there would have been a lot of times that instead of a phone call, I would have made a text message. I think that's common nowadays. And so the last time Deenah spoke with her daughter and family was August 10th. Now, again, let's go through these times for those of you who are just popping in. Okay. Um, Spoke to family. Okay, all the way across the US, Oregon to Alabama on August 10th. Her boyfriend reports her missing September 8th. He said he last saw her August 30th, 8 days earlier. Okay, so we're getting this really weird timeline going on here with a lot of open, what we would call in Hawaii, pukas, holes. Okay. Um, but the last time that they did speak on August 10th, okay, Deenah and her daughter Bethany, Deenah made a comment to her daughter, which is kind of alarming to me, especially when combined with a couple other comments she made to other family members. She said, quote, she was staying with people who were, quote, not, who weren't real trustworthy. So you're starting to realize family is concerned about her living situation. Okay, Dina herself is saying the people that she's living with are not really trustworthy to her. And so there's a lot of little concerns popping up there. In addition to that, since her disappearance, okay, her family have said they have, quote, we've recently learned that the people she was staying with have been stealing from her for many months. Her belongings have now been found abandoned in the woods. We're really worried. So, this is why I talk about abuse of the elderly and all, or abuse of people who need extra help physically, cognitively, whatever the need is. Okay, it's starting to look like they, whether it was a siphoning off of, in fact, one person on the internet actually made a suggestion, okay, which I would say to anyone here, if you know of an elderly person whose money is being taken from them or belongings being taken from them, you need to report that to Adult Protective Services right away so they can start looking into it. I've seen way too many times in my career where adult children or adult, okay, family members all of a sudden take, and I hate to say that people do this, but they do it. Okay, they start siphoning off money. They take exactly Ocean Tide. They take advantage of her. Okay, again, remember, we've got this small, petite woman who probably, okay, it sounds like needed assistance. That's why one of the words that was initially used on the poster, the first poster that came out, was that she had this boyfriend was her caregiver. Now, I haven't been able to verify, was he actually providing care? Okay, was he claiming that he was a caregiver and getting paid for caregiver services through the state? Okay, I don't know. There's a lot of questions on this, and I think there's something that the police are having to look into right now with that. The other thing that had happened was she had been talking with other family members. It wasn't just her daughter that she was telling that she was scared. And um, quote, my mom had this whole family in Alabama that loves her very, very much. We're hearing some pretty awful things right now about people who had been around her and how she was being treated. She told my aunt last time they talked that she felt like she was in danger. So, again, none of this is proof of anything, but there are definitely big time red flags that you kind of put out there. Okay. And you make sure you keep them in the back of your head because all of a sudden you're recognizing a woman who was saying that she was scared, who was saying that she was not being treated right, that she, okay, they weren't real trustworthy, things like that. And then all of a sudden she goes missing and is missing for over a week. Okay. According to the boyfriend, missing for a week before he reports her missing. Now, if you look at the time that she officially was missing from the time her family last spoke to her, verified conversation, you are literally talking about August 10th to September 8th when the boyfriend finally reported her missing to the police. It's not a good sign. And I do have to say, it looks like when the search began, it was more of, I don't know if they didn't contact the family or what. Because, like I said, the family say they did not know that she was missing until September 24th, last week, which means no one from law enforcement was contacting them for a few weeks, which does worry me. I would have thought the first thing that would have happened if the boyfriend saying, "Oh yeah, I think she went back to Alabama," and someone would have verified that by calling Alabama. And did that happen? Did that? I don't know. That's a hole there that does not make sense to me. Okay, and maybe it was something that just was not followed up on. Maybe something else happened there. We don't know. Hello, Miss Cassie. Okay, you're gonna come join me. Okay, thank you. And so what did happen though at one point, and I Roberta, how you doing, my dear Roberta? Welcome, welcome. I think when the family got involved, things really went into overdrive. I think that's when the police may have really recognized that this was not a case of an elderly, I hate using that word for someone in their 60s, but still, okay, person who supposedly needed a caregiver, whatever like that, just disappearing. Okay, probably thinking of a case, well, maybe she wandered off or something like that. That's what I thinking they initially thought. Then they realized there's a lot more to this. And at that point, I think from some of my understanding, the boyfriend, they started realizing we're not giving them real information. Duh. Okay, if the boyfriend is telling them, okay, that, oh, yeah, she left to go there and they're starting to catch the dates and stuff like that. Okay, yeah, things start to smell a little bit. Okay, and I'm sure they started getting worried. That's what led us to the next set of information. And last week, this came out. Okay, this came out 2 days ago. So today is the 30th. So this was the 28th. Now remember, September 24th is when the family finally found out, her biological family found out in Alabama that she was missing. Okay, a couple days later, this comes out. The sheriff's office, okay, Jackson County Sheriff, Oregon, is seeking the public's help in identifying the motorhome possibly associated with a missing person. And I've got pictures to show you in a second. Now, this was pushed out specifically in the area of Grants Pass area. And I'm going to take us back to Google in a second because this is a different area where the investigation started. And I think a lot of that came out of online discussions about this. Jackson County Sheriff's Office, JCSO, is looking for the public's help in identifying the owner of the pictured motorhome. The vehicle may be associated with a missing person from the Prospect area, Prospect, Oregon. Deenah Paget, 68, has been missing since August 30th from Prospect. So they're still using that missing date that the boyfriend is giving them. She is described as a white woman, 4'8" tall, weighing approximately 95 pounds, with brownish red hair with graying. If anyone has information on the owner of the pictured motorhome or the whereabouts of Deenah, please contact ECSO dispatch non-emergency phone number at 541-776-7206. Now, the motorhome. This is the motorhome in question. The moment I actually started looking into this, especially this motorhome side of things got really interesting because this is one motorhome people can recognize pretty quickly. And the reason is, if you look closely here, you will notice what looks like tons of writing on the windows. And that's exactly what it is. It's tons of writing on the windows. One of the bits of writing is right here on the front, which says the animals all have food and H2O. So letting everyone know, oh my gosh, you still don't have your power. And guys, actually, this is for everyone on the East Coast. I actually almost talked about the missing in due to Hurricane Helene. I'm thinking about you. I've been praying for y'all. But there's a lot of lives that have everything from just no power, okay, and the problems of not having power and living your life day to day, to people whose their whole neighborhood is gone, completely, utterly gone. I mean, this is as horrendous in my eyes as so many of the other disasters, whether it be Lahaina, okay, Hurricane Katrina. As people are saying, there are areas of the East right now that this has become their Hurricane Katrina. And also, all of you guys, I've had you in my heart throughout this whole thing. Oh, it just went out while you were okay. So I thought because your internet has been out, yeah, Siren. So I was like, wait, it's your internet, and yeah. Oh, it's just I've been watching all of the stuff about the hurricane, and I'm just like, See, we're lucky in Hawaii. We get hurricanes, but because of the way the chain is built, usually we're this tiny dot in the middle of the Pacific. Okay. And when it does get caught and pulled towards us, it usually goes over the big island first. And because of how tall the volcanoes is there, and then on Maui, also Haleakala, um, it basically chops off the top of hurricanes. So the hurricanes that hit us actually go south of us and then they come straight up, like Hurricane Iniki did or Hurricane Eva did. And so that's when we get hit, where, I mean, Florida, the East Coast, Louisiana, okay, all these North Carolina right now. The Carolinas really got it. And also, you do still not have your I'm hoping it's in, by the way, guys, just so y'all know, I'm going to be sharing this out soon. Hopefully, Siren will have his regular Wi Fi back up by then. But this Sunday, we're going to have a follow up to the hot sauce episode from a few weeks ago, except we're going sour now. So get ready for Pucker Power. Oh boy, I've seen the bag, and wait till you see some of the stuff that we are going to be ingesting. Yes, yes, yes. So I will be sharing that out though. So hopefully it goes on soon for you. Both go on soon for you, Siren. And by the way, I saw your message. I'll send you something back in a bit. So anyhow, this vehicle is just filled with literally messages everywhere. Every window is filled, okay, with messages. Okay, one comment after another. Okay, you can tell they did not want people looking in it. I mean, just that one comment about the animals have food and water. Okay, they've been sitting there long enough to get upset or angry and not want people looking in and stuff like that. But what this also shows me is they didn't want people coming near the thing either. Okay, it's interesting all that. I've tried to break down some of the other writings and it's a little harder. Let me see if I can pull it up smaller for me, just to tell you guys what some of it is actually saying. Let me see. I just got to pull it up. I was trying on a different app and it was not. It's really hard. Yeah, you can see certain words, something like mind your, and the smaller, if okay, this picture, the whole thing, you got the first window, I can't even read. It's so tiny. And but the other one, you can see the words clearly, mind your, and then something else. And then about 8 other words. This final window starts with the word don't something. So I've got ideas there, but it's really, really interesting how they've gone about doing this. But what it also did is all that writing, I think, made this motorhome very, very recognizable, extremely recognizable. So now you've got police coming out and saying, hey, gang, we need to know where this vehicle has been. Okay, where is it now? Which is also what worries me right now. If they're looking for this vehicle right now and its owner, are they, is this owned by him? And if so, that means they don't have him anymore. He's gone missing, which is something I'm trying to verify right now because it's looking like that's very possible here. And if not, that means there's a third party involved in all this. Now, what is interesting with the whole thing, though, is once they put this out, you start going into the Facebook side of things. And I know I don't normally focus on Facebook comments and all, but this was one time I was able to see where Facebook comments have literally made a difference in searches. So initially, the search for, okay, Deenah, was focused in this area here, the Mill Creek Falls area where, okay, the motorhome, I guess, was initially seen. They looked for 2 weeks there, according to law enforcement. However, as more and more comments started coming out, I started noticing other locations being mentioned. And every time I looked, okay, I was trying to look up streets and stuff like that, and I'm noticing these streets, Gallus Road, like 4 or 5 people making comments saying, "Oh, I saw that vehicle over on Gallus Road." And I'm looking here and I'd had all the other problems with trying to find roads in that area and all. I'm like, no, there's no way it was that far away. Okay, I've got to be reading this. And then all of a sudden I noticed that this area, this okay thing from the police was specifically focused in on the Grants Pass area. Well, guess what? Grants Pass is right here. Gallus Road, which is one of the areas where multiple people commented that they had seen this vehicle in the last week or so, okay, is right up here. So that made it very, very possible that this area that the vehicle was, and potentially Deenah, okay, because again, we know that this vehicle could be connected to Deenah's disappearance, okay, is in this area. So now, instead of just Prospect, we've now got Grants Pass involved here. And police look like they've reckoned it. You've been to Grants Pass, really? It looks definitely bigger than Prospect. Definitely looks bigger than Prospect. I mean, if you look here, let me go back into Prospect. Prospect, teeny, teeny, tiny little area. Okay, you've got creeks here, you've got all that going. But then once you get to Grants Pass, sorry, you can tell I don't know this area. And there we go. I didn't pull out far enough. Okay, definitely bigger. Okay, looks like it has its own more industrial area. You got a Walmart Supercenter here. Okay. Hey, here, my dear. And you've got definitely a lot more people. A lot more people, which also tell me if they think this vehicle went here, and if this vehicle is tied to the boyfriend, okay, which is what it's looking like right now. Okay, not okay. I haven't gotten like named as the person, but you can kind of connect everything and make see how it all connects. There's a lot more people in this area who could have seen him or her. There's also some potential that there are other people involved. Oh, really? It's harder to get around a lot of one-way streets. Hawaii is known for its one-way street. I swear we've got one King Street and one Baratania. One goes one way, one goes the other way. And I never know which street is which, just what's on the street. And also interesting. So what my thought is right now from what I'm seeing is whatever happened and wherever they lived, they initially lived in Prospect, and it looks all conjecture, all assumption here, guys. But it looks like when they were kicked out of whatever location they were living in, they ended up in the motorhome. Okay. From that motorhome, something happened. Okay. As for when, I'm going to say early August because family is saying August 10th is the last time they spoke with her. Okay, the family has come from Alabama to Oregon to look for her. Okay, they tried to put money together, and we will address that right at the end because they did put together a GoFundMe because hell, anyone who's ever traveled and flown, you know how expensive it is to get last minute airfares from one side of the country to the other, and then hotels and all that because they don't know people who are living there. And luckily, it looks like Deenah was really, really well loved by a lot of people. I saw a number of comments from people on Facebook where people were like, you know, she had made comments to a number of us about not feeling comfortable where she was. And a lot of people even thinking after the fact that, you know, I wish I had just taken her in. Okay, I wish I had just given her a place to come. So a lot of gut feelings going on in this. And also my suspicion is after whatever happened, it looks like the vehicle was taken to the Grants Pass area. From Grants Pass, it was seen for multiple days. pretty much in one area for quite a while. Okay, a couple days, and then a couple other location potentials. Police have looked into all those areas. I don't know what they've seen and what they haven't seen. Um, it's all within the last 48 to 72 hours. After that, one person did mention whether or not the vehicle is around anymore or has it been destroyed or things like that. We don't know. And but it was connected to it. And is there a possibility that it could be a crime scene, things like that? Yeah, it's very possible. Is there a possibility that she actually left? Yes. As we get older, I don't know what her diagnoses are, if there was any dementia diagnoses or anything like that, but there are those possibilities too. But right now, what is truly, truly needed in this case is this, the poster to be shared out. Okay, if anyone has seen her, if anyone has seen that vehicle, calling up the police and letting the police know what it is that you've seen. Now for the family, and I posted this and it's pinned up at the top of the comments. Family really needed to go out there to be part of this search. Okay, guys, I will be honest with you. It sounds like a lot of the push to get down to the truth happened after they were involved. And and that may have happened anyhow, just based off of facts and based off of what the police found out. All of a sudden, police may have gone full force at that point, anyhow. And but okay, the family getting involved and being part of this search is what's was very important. Family were trying to save up money for that flight. It was not easy to get to that level. They did put out a GoFundMe, which is pinned at the top of chat. Um, if you want to go there, sometimes it for donation, if you can get $5, things like that, feel free to. Okay. If not, go there for updates and show support. There is a Facebook group for Deenah that is kind of more focused on searches and stuff like that. It looks like a fairly new group, and they're just trying to figure out how do we find her? Because right now she's out there somewhere one way or another. So we'll see what happens with them. So, and I think that, yeah, if anyone has any information, they can definitely contact the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. Her case number is 24-4928 and all. So the other thing I just wanted to let y'all know a little bit about. So that's Deenah's case. So if you guys can help me, I will go as soon as I'm done with this. I'm going to go post her poster on my community tab. So you guys can screenshot that at that point and just share that out. Ocean Tide, thanks for being willing to share it out on X. All of us have our platforms where the majority of our friends are. Okay, and the people we can connect with. And I really appreciate that. And also, there's another case I've been looking at recently. And like I said, I almost did some coverage of it, but I think what we'll probably do is do a standalone on it. I did promise you guys we're going to do a standalone about London and Devon. I mean, the Devons, London and Blake Devon. We're still going to do that. I'm still pulling information together on that. I promise you we will be doing that. I just saw this. Okay, this woman's. I saw Deenah today, and I really felt I needed to cover this. And when I get that feeling, I have to go with it. But we will be covering London and Devon. London and Blake, sorry. I have a friend named Devon, so every time I come up with London and Devon, it's London, Devon, and Blake Devon. We will cover that. There's also a case. Actually, I'm going to pull this up real quickly for you guys since I covered that a little quicker than I normally do. A lot of us heard about it about a year ago. This guy was arrested and all for sexual assault and kidnapping. And let me see. Nagasi Zabiri. Let me pull him up again. Nagasi. I'm just going to pull up an article with him. So he was, here we go. This is another Oregon one. Let me just pull things. Sorry. I hadn't planned on doing this, but might as well. And let me just share my screenshot here. Okay, change things over. Place. Sorry, I'm still having fun getting used to Restream. Okay, here we go. Let me ask you guys real quickly, how many of you guys in chat remember the case of Nagasi Zubiri? This occurred last year is when people were talking about him. Here's his picture in case you remember him. He had been arrested for kidnapping and sexual assault of, I think it was 2 women at the time. He had this room that he had built to keep them imprisoned. And what we are finding out now is that part of his plan, gang, was to kidnap women and build a you don't ocean dive. Okay, we'll definitely cover this case then too. Because my focus with this is there could be other women out there right now. And the FBI is extremely focused on finding those women, other victims of his. Let me actually read this real quickly for you guys then, since there are definitely a couple of you guys who don't know this story. If it'll let me, of course, it will not let me. Why would it ever do that? I do not want to. Okay, it's going to be one of those. So let me try to come back to this here. Okay, I'll just read the basic thing here and then we'll go from there. So, the man accused of kidnapping a woman and locking her in a cinder block cell in his Klamath Falls home has been newly indicted on 8 counts. Now, this was earlier this year. Okay. The document filed on February 15th showed Zuberi faces charges of kidnapping, transportation with the intent to engage in sexual activity, and illegally possessing firearms with ammunition in relation to an ongoing FBI investigation from July of 2023. Now, the reason why I wanted to cover this, okay, let me go into that before I go further in this, is he has come out and said he had wanted to, through sexual assault, build an army of children, of his children. And that is why they feel, especially with how advanced his, well, not advanced, but he had progressed to a level where he had a lot of well thought out plans with all this. There could be many, many other victims in this case. Okay, there were 2 initially that we know about, but that is growing and growing, I suspect. Zuberi is accused of kidnapping a separate victim. Oh, well, let's see. A second victim 2 months earlier on May 6th and later attempting to escape from his prison cell after pleading not guilty in August. According to the FBI, Zuberi has lived in 10 states over the past 10 years. Another reason why they are almost positive there are other victims here. And you don't just all of a sudden go from, okay, 0 to building a jail cell in your house, okay, where you could take women, okay, and hold them captive while you do it. That does not go from 0 to there overnight. That builds up over time. And with 10 years, 10 different states, he's running from state to state. He's trying to get out of states before he can be identified. He's linked to at least 4 essays in 4 of those states. Authorities believe there could be additional victims. Okay, the investigation has expanded to the states including Washington, Oregon, Colorado, Utah, Florida, New York, New Jersey, Alabama, and Nevada. So, I mean, not just one region. He's everywhere. So, I am going to talk about him at some point because my feeling is there's probably other people out there who need to know that they, number one, they're not alone. Okay, there are other people who went through what they went through. Okay, and they can now get the justice that they need. Oh, I just realized my screen did not share that. So here, let me pull that up again. Sorry, guys. And Don't know if I like Restream yet. I'm still trying to I gotta get used to it. You guys know how that is. Oh, that's what's going on. It's not sharing it. That is really interesting. Huh. Okay, let me do this. I'm gonna do this. Let me stop sharing that. Come on. Yeah, I'm definitely having to learn how to use Restream. Yeah, he's been in many places. Okay, is that show? Okay, it's showing now. Sorry about that, guys. I did not notice I didn't have it open because of one screen. Someday I'll get a second computer screen where I can see things. But this is Nagasi. Yeah, he's been in many, many places. And my concern is the fact that, like FBI says, there are more. It started with 2 people that had been arrested. It got to 4. I don't know if it's even more now. This article itself is from, let's see, when is this article dated? February. So could be many other areas now. Okay, and it goes much more into everything going past the ocean tide. Someday I'll learn this stuff. Yeah, the July 2023 thing on August 2nd, investigators revealed that he, also known as Sagi, had other names also, was in federal custody for kidnapping and SA after a woman escaped from his house. Court documents show that on July 15th, 2023, he traveled from his Southern Oregon home to Seattle, where he approached a woman around midnight near Aurora Avenue and solicited her for prostitution. Officials say he claimed to be a police officer. Another, okay, thing with police is pretending to be a police officer. Showed the victim his badge, saying he needed to take her into custody. He pointed a taser at her before putting her in handcuffs and leg irons and forcing her into the back of his car. He then drove 450 miles to Klamath Falls and stopped at a gas station and put a backwards sweatshirt on the woman to cover her face before driving to his home at 1336 North El Dorado Avenue. The woman said once they arrived at the house, he put her into a makeshift cell in the garage that he had made out of cinder blocks with a metal door that could not be opened from the inside. Authorities say the woman was locked in the cell for a few hours, but when he left, she escaped by punching and banging on the door several times to break the welds. Once outside, she fled the house, flagged down someone who could call 911. I think they got pictures, maybe not on this one. Let me see if I can find the one that has pictures of where he was keeping people. I think this one does, as long as it does. Yeah, this one does. So this is the one that I was trying to get into, but I don't have a membership to the site, the newspaper. But this shows you where he was keeping women. And this is just one. And I would not be surprised if he had places like this on other locations that he lived in. And that was a freaking long list of states. So again, you can see here, this was his plan. And now this plan is what they're just coming out with right now. This plan to basically, okay, build himself his own army. Okay, Operation Takeover. Leave phone at home. Make sure they don't have a bunch of people in their life. Okay, you don't want any type of investigation. You plan. You went to Klamath Falls to Ocean. I love it. My God, I love it. Okay, you're my Oregon person. You're my Oregon person for sure. This is his plan for building an area. Dig a hole down 100 feet. Okay, concealer blocks, rubber coat, foam insulation, waterproof. Okay, all these things he had put together for it. Okay, and who knows how many other. Yes, this might have been the top before he was, thank God, found and arrested. But guarantee you he had other places and other people that he had hurt. So these women are not alone. They have other people, okay, and they are going to get justice. So I do want to, yeah, thank you, Kim, exactly. And almost covered this today, but Deenah's case just, I couldn't get it out of my head today, so I wanted to share that. But we will definitely cover the Devons again, and him. I'll find a way to get on for Extra Lives just for that. So, but I am going to go take care of my puppies and make myself something to eat. I've got a bunch of cute, isn't this cute? And I'm working on a bunch. I've got, oh, by the way, I'm going to have some, I should share these with you guys. I've never done that. Well, I have, but it's been a long time of the diamond painting stuff that I sell. And I need to update, like I keep promising Sleuth, I'll do my store and all for that. Yeah, it takes such a sick mind to do these. And guys, there's so many sick people like that. For everyone we hear about, there's how many others out there that we don't hear, and how many victims out there who, I'll be honest, probably don't speak up. And because it's not something, it's hard. Anyone who's been a survivor of anything knows how hard that is to speak up and use that voice. And but there's something to knowing you're not alone. And so, but we will come together. I think this week Sleuth and I will be over on her channel. I think it is. I forget. You want to learn? You know what? We will definitely. I need. People have been asking me for another what do you call cantina. Let me figure out how I can get a cantina going again. Cantina, for those of you who don't know, was every Friday after my live. I would do a second live just to hang out. People come up on panel and all that. We just joked around. And I stopped doing it because I usually had craft fairs lined up. Well, I've got a couple weeks off here. So maybe we can do something and we can learn. Diamond painting is a lot of fun. I actually sell the kits too. Because it never fails. I get to these craft fairs and in fact, wait. I gotta show you guys something else. Sorry. I gotta show you guys this though. Let me see if I can find it. Earlier today, let me see if I can find it, going around and I came across, let me see if I can find it. And you can see everything that I've been looking at today. And where are you, Eugenia Cooney? All of my reasons. Here we go. This was my last convention. This was my last convention I was at, and I was last night going around online. Sorry, I keep talking, but it's fun. This is actually my friend's dog. This is actually what you're looking at right here is actually my friend's in my booth. And also there's times that, oh, come on, where's Fuwako? There's Fuwako. So that's my friend's dog. He brought it over one day and we had so much fun with the dog and everything. But you could actually, when she's there, I'm in the background a couple times. All of a sudden I'm like, oh, great. I look wonderful. In fact, there you go. You can see me now on the right-hand side. So that's what I do during my craft fairs. I sit there for how many hours just looking around and working on diamond painting. But you can see some of my diamond paintings. There we go. There we go. Right there. You can see me right there. There's some of my diamond. I got a cinema roll right there. And that's Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. But yeah, the pup is the cutest thing. I love Fuwako. Fuwako is a Shiba Inu that is, what, maybe about 10 days older than Cassie. So the two got kind of raised together. But she's much sweeter. She's not as much of a diva bitch as my dog is. My dog's the diva bitch, but what can I say? So, but anyhow, what are the chances, literally, of at night scrolling through, YouTube, and all of a sudden this pops up, and I'm like, oh, someone went to Comic-Con. Let me take a look at this. And I get to Comic-Con. I go in and I start looking. I'm like, what the hell? That's me. That's me. What? So I said to her, she was an amazing, she's an artist that does drawings. Let me see if I can find some of her drawing stuff from the front. She's from Hawaii, but actually, here's the front of her booth. So she does art. Oh, wait, was that her stuff? Yeah, that's her stuff. And also, a lot of the people who do Comic Cons and stuff, they're artists and they draw different, anime, cartoons, things like that. And then they print that stuff. So this was her booth right there. And they were wonderful. Okay, next door neighbors. We were right there on the left hand side. We were at the end of the row and she was kind of like a U shape. And also, we all sat there, and for 3 days straight, everyone kind of got to know each other, which was kind of nice. So, but yeah, we'll have to do something about the diamond painting, showing you guys how to. It's so simple, Ocean Tide. If you've never diamond painted, it's so simple. Um, I don't know. Let me see. Let me see real quick. Sorry, I'm not going to do that part of it, but what I will do is this. This is my store of my diamond painting stuff. So if any of you guys, if you're interested in buying anything from it, please contact me first because unfortunately there are some things that are sold out and I have not updated it recently. But if you're interested, let me know. And I need to update things. This is this one that's sold, and in fact, I bought another one because I'm actually going to do it and sell that one. That one's sold. It's so cute. So, but anyhow, I keep saying I'm going to go, but I don't go for some reason. I don't know why. I just like sitting here with you guys. Yeah. So, yeah, I will talk to y'all later. I'm going to go make dinner. And yeah, are you done? You want to say anything? No, no, you're cozy. Anyhow, talk to y'all later. Aloha, gang. Mahalo. Thank you guys for all you do in supporting the channel. So, and I'll get back to you with those two other cases in the near future. Talk to y'all later.